Good afternoon, guys. We are live here today with the family of the young lady who lost her life tragically at the Georgetown Public Hospital to basically allow the family a space where they can share their hurts and concerns with the general public. As you know, the story has been gaining much traction across social media. We have had speculation flying wild west, which is unfortunate. But you know, I guess that's how the social media era works. So here with me, it would be the aunts of the late Marissa, and we have been speaking for a bit. So if you guys could just shed some light on what caused Marissa, sorry, to end up in the hospital, and what was that encounter like when she was taken to the hospital.
Well, on Sunday, I was at home and I received a call from my mom stating that Marissa is in the hospital. So I leave and I went down to Georgetown Hospital. However, upon arriving there, I met my elder sister there. It was Portia. Our mom was there, and we went into the ward and noticed that Marissa was behaving kind out of it. She was out of it, and in a sense that she was behaving like extraordinary. So while she was behaving like that, she was like snatching and grabbing at her mother, held the food at me, screaming, shouting, telling me to get out, to like, and this she was out of order. So however, we hold her down because she was like standing on the bed and screaming and so on. So we hold her down, and after holding her down, the nurses came in the room, so we asked to see the doctor. However, they said that the general doctor was not in there.
This was what time?
I got there about 3:30 on Sunday. So while I get to speak to the psyche doctor about, I assume about around 4, right? The psyche doctor came in and she was basically asking me questions about Marissa, trying to find out what is really going on with her and stuff like that. So I was explaining to her, telling her, well, you know, her mom said from Friday she started to behave really out of it, right? And it went on from Friday to Saturday. And Saturday night, it was really bad, so that was what forced her to bring her to the hospital.
Right.
Right? So I was kind of explaining that to the psyche doctor. And she was asking me
So
like...
she was in the hospital
Yeah,
since Saturday night?
Yes, since Saturday night. So the psyche doctor was asking me, well, what is this reaction I'm speaking about? So I was telling her, well, she's saying things out of the place, like that she ought not to say, doing things extraordinary, not like a normal human being would do. And basically that was it she was saying. And then on speaking to the psyche doctor, the gynecologist doctor came in and he's standing there. So I asked him, I said, are you the doctor? He said no, he came concerning the pregnancy. Right? So I was asking both of them to give her something to keep her calm because she was really behaving, because I literally we were, Alicia was there, Alicia, your husband was there too, right? Literally holding Marissa, trying to get her stable, holding her. So we were trying to get her to stabilize. So the nurses came in and we were telling them to tie her down to the bed.
Some form of restraint.
Begging them to tie her, strap her down to the bed. However, they was ignoring me. And we were there for quite some time. Like that by then it was going down to like 6:30 I assume. We were there, and then the security guard came in and said, we gotta leave. And I said, no, we can't leave like this unless you either strap her or either give her something to calm her down, at least get her to sleep.
Right.
And we there, and the security guards keep telling us that y'all gotta go, visiting hours is over. Y'all gotta go, y'all can't stay in here. And I said, no, we can't leave this child like that. And she kept insisting, like started to behave out of the way, like we gotta get out of there. So we leave, and we was in the hall. However, while we was in the hall,
before we left, when she came in and she said that we gotta leave, when the security told us that we gotta leave, I went to her because they was like, you gotta leave, you can't stay here visiting hours up. So I went to them and I told them that I said, we are gonna leave, we understand that visiting hours is up, But the state that my niece is in, we can't leave her here. We're gonna leave, but we're gonna leave when she's in a stable condition.
Right.
So they were still insisting that, oh, we gotta leave, we gotta leave, we gotta leave. So we asked this question: if we leave, who's gonna be responsible? Who's gonna be looking at her when we're not there? They gave us all hope. Somebody's gonna be
All
there watching at
assurance.
her. So I left because I had to go and bring back something for her. So I left the hospital to go and get it. I left her aunt here and her next aunt. I leave them there, and I went to get the stuff for her.
Yes. However, when Alice leave, she leave myself and my sister, my elder sister, along with her mom. And Alice was to come back with some towels and other stuff for her. So I told the mother to sit and wait because they wouldn't allow her inside of the ward.
All right.
So I let her sit in. There's a sitting area around by the elevator. Elevators. There's a sitting area there. So I told her to sit there and wait until Alice returned with her stuff, and then she can go ahead and go home. Leave and go home. And by then, I just leave on my way home. By the time I meet the back road around the roundabout heading home, I receive a call from my mom stating that Marissa jumped through the hospital window. However, I went out of it. I started to scream in the vehicle while driving. Turn around. I called my sister. When I called my sister, she was over the river. I told her what Marissa just did. I left and I went back to the hospital. When I go in the hospital, went to the back. My niece is lying on the floor. She brains out, everything.
And before Wendy came back, I met there before Wendy. And when I met there, I saw my niece on the ground with the sheet cover over. And there were nurses. I don't know if they had any doctor there, but they were nurses. Everybody stand off, and my niece was lying there. So I run straight in and I go and I lie down next to my niece and I hug up my niece and I started crying and nobody was coming and I was there for hours.
So how long she was lying there?
It had to be before because my other sister was there and when she fell, my other sister was there and she said that it was already past already.
Before they cover the body.
Before they cover the body.
Right.
And then when I meet there, I was there for hours too. When Wendy came, then other family members came. She was there for hours before they moved her. Hours. And nobody wasn't telling us anything. Nobody wasn't coming to her, even though we was asking who coming and attend to her, why y'all not moving her. Nobody came. They said that they told us that they gotta wait until the police came. And they had some persons in this white clothes. They came, and when they came, they put the yellow tape, and they taped it, and she was still there for a while. And they asked us to just move back. She was there for a while. Hours she was there. All for hours she was there.
If somebody can give an idea in terms of what the room was like where Marissa was, so that people can have an understanding in terms of the window and because they're saying that she just went and jumped through the window, but based on my understanding, you had to climb on something and practically
you have to get on a bed in order to get through the window because the window is not low, it's high. So for her to get through the window, you have to climb on a bed.
But was she on the bed that she was on?
No.
She wasn't close to the window.
There's a ward with 6 beds inside.
6 beds.
Yes. Marissa was on the left. On the middle
Closest to the door or to the window?
Well, it's in the middle.
Okay,
right?
the middle,
so
right.
There's a window with the end bed and there's a one by the door.
Right.
And she was in the middle, to the left. And there's 3 beds on the right, right? There was 3 patients on the right, reaching one to the door, one in the middle, and one to the end where the window is located. Right? Now the window opened like this wide, right? Like this wide. It wasn't like this that you can actually plunge through being pregnant at the same
6
time.
months pregnant.
Right, exactly, right? So in order for Marissa to get through that window, the nurses were saying that the window was closed, right? They tell us that a nurse was in the ward attending to a patient at the same time when Marissa jumped through the window. Now, look at the logics, right? Marissa had to jump off her bed, which is on to the left in the middle, right? To get obliquely across to the right, where there was a patient lying on the bed next to the window, hop on the bed, and then
to the window.
Climb up.
open it because according to them it was closed. Listen to the logic. Have to open the window and then get ourselves through, right? And the nurse was in the ward attending to a patient.
Well, that's what they said.
Where were the nurses?
I'm trying to figure it out.
Where were the nurses in the ward? Why was anybody looking at her, knowing the state that she was in at the time? Why wasn't anybody paying attention? How could you make a pregnant woman move from a bed in the middle to the window, then get up on something to climb up to the window, open the window and jump? Where were the nurses? Wasn't anybody there? Where were the nurses? These are answers that we need. Where were the nurses?
It's not
earlier when we was at the hospital. They had like 4 to 5 nurses in there. So where were they when we left? At least when I left, where were all these nurses? Where was everybody? Couldn't somebody see? It should take a time. Obviously, she's gonna take a time to get through this window. Oh, where was the nurses? Nobody see when she climbed in. Nobody see her. Was it nobody there?
And they were aware of her situation before her behavior pattern.
Yes, they were.
Right.
aware
So
of it.
the family told the nurses the manner in which she was behaving.
They
saw it. They
Right.
were right there.
Yeah.
There were 4 to 5 nurses in the ward when she was behaving.
And you were there?
I was there.
No, but even without that, because I noticed one news outlet saying that they didn't find anything and so on as it relates to her mental state. So she was in, her perfect senses based on what that news outlet has put out. But my thing is, based on her behavior and what the doctors would have seen, they were the one who had to order the psych eval. So to have that doctor come there says that that something is not functioning properly as it relates to this young lady. So that in itself, there's no running away from if the doctors knew her state of mind, if anybody saw her social media post, because first of all, it was difficult not to see it. It was every single where people were sharing it left, right, and center, even trying to find out who the young lady was so that they can get her help. It was everywhere.
And the post had suicidal.
Her phone,
Right.
She did the
Right.
video.
She,
the
tendencies.
video.
Right.
She did the video herself in the hospital, on the hospital bed. I was made to understand that she asked a nurse to delete the post after she already do this live, and then she had written a note saying she apologized to everybody, whatever's the sort.
Forgive her
She
and
asked the nurse to delete this live and everything. And indeed, because when I met to the hospital, I was going to take the phone to deactivate the account myself. And when I picked up the phone was charging. When I turn it on, the phone is like brand new, like you guys said. This phone once again.
Reset.
So I tried setting the phone up, and I wasn't even getting into nothing for the phone to set up or anything. I wasn't getting into nothing. So I did. At the moment, the state, everything that I saw, I had no time to question who is the nurse. Who she asked to delete this Facebook post, who she even gave the phone to. I didn't have the time because it wasn't time for that.
All right, which is understandable.
So with this saying that they don't know, they know because who was the nurse. She knew. I'm not going to just take somebody's phone and just delete something just like that. I'm going to, I go peep at it, especially, come on, it's simple logic. If I see it's alive, and this patient asked me to delete this live, and I seen is this patient that is right here, did this live, I go peep in the live for see what, I watching this video for see what this person posts. I'm not just delete this thing just, and that's why the whole phone, why not just delete
the live alone?
Deactivate the account or delete the live? Why did you swipe the whole phone? That's my question. And I would really, really like to know who was the nurse. These is questions that I need answers for now. I wasn't in my right state of mind at that time last night. It was chaos. I could not have asked this question. I was crying right through. Now I feel a little bit more better where I can talk and ask these questions and these things. I need answers. We need answers.
One of the things I remembered you guys mentioned earlier is that last night, well, the night of having been at the hospital, and like you said, you were hugging your niece on the floor and so on. After all that was done, I was told that the hospital called the family to a meeting.
Yes, they wanted to meet with us. They took us in the room, in a different department, and they had like a little meeting. But to be honest, I can't really recall everything that was discussed in the room, because for me, I was crying. I was in a state of shock. You know, it's my niece at this time. I wasn't really focusing on what they were saying, so I can't really like give any information on what they were actually talking about.
It's bad timing though. I mean, the family is grieving. One would think that at that time, right?
Somebody, one of them, even gave me a tissue because I was crying. I was having a headache, so I wasn't in my right state of mind.
As was expected. I mean, that's a difficult, situation to come to grips with, especially since you would have momentarily left the hospital. Your niece was
and then I came
alive.
Back. I leave her alive, and then
Right.
I came back to
To her.
a body, as they was calling her last night, a body, because she's dead.
All right.
So I was in a
there any
state of
attempt
shock.
to see whether they could get the baby? Did anybody check to see
No,
whether the baby was alive or anything?
nobody came to check to see anything. A few hours after, this long after, I don't know if it's a nurse or a doctor, but the person came with and they checked the pulse and stuff.
Are you kidding me?
But that wasn't like, there was hours after. It wasn't like, I would have understand if when she fell, you know, you come, this is an emergency, you come running, you got to check this patient because we want this patient to live, but it wasn't like that. It was hours after, long after.
Wow, that is very. I mean, if what you're saying is a fact, then this is extremely unacceptable, and it is reflects a lot of negligence on the part of the hospital, because nobody should have to go through this. Having seen the state that this young lady was in, there should have been an immediate intervention. I could understand the family not wanting to leave her in that state, and being afraid. I mean, I'm sure even at the time you might have think of her harming herself or even harming other patients in the ward, but I'm sure you couldn't foresee her plunging to her death through the nearby window. In fact, one might think that these windows might be barred.
That would have been the
you
last
know?
thing to come to our mind. Like, she jumping from a window. This is not, she wasn't a child that would do these things. She was never suicidal. This is never her. This is never her.
But when did this start happening in terms of this change in behavior and so on?
Saturday. The Friday.
Oh.
Friday, but the Saturday it
No,
got,
this thing happened in a while. Just that we didn't notice it. Don't put me on the light, please. Just that we didn't notice it. You understand? Because lately she went by me, she turned, she said, Anika, when you were pregnant, you ever forget things? And I turned and said, my miss, no, I never forget things. I don't know how you forget things. I turned and said, like, you smoke TV weed. Because I didn't really, I got attacked
Like
in the knees.
no, it's your sister. Yeah. Yes.
Anyway, and I turned to her, she no, I never forget things. And she said, I don't know. But like, I would think about something and think, and I would just forget it. And I said, my niece, I don't know. And then at night, the same night she sleep by me, and I get up 4 o'clock in the morning going to the toilet. And she get up. I should hear her going to the toilet. And she come and say, oh, it's you. And I said, my niece, why you sleeping? So I can't sleep. I'm feeling uncomfortable. I say, you know why you can't sleep? Because you want a pillow. I said, Marisa, you're pregnant. And when I was pregnant, I had to use a lot of pillow. One for my back, one for my foot, one for between my body, one for my head. And I gave you 2 pillows. I said, look, these 2 pillows. And she take it and she made one measure back. And she set it up, and then when I go in my room and come back and peep, she show a sleeping song. Oh. So me and take it for nothing. But that was this sign she showed me reality. And me see it. And my niece, and my first niece, and then my first nephew when I came from my first niece. And again,
Have you, the family been contacted since by the hospital or perhaps the Minister of Health or anybody?
We haven't been contacted by anyone until now.
Hmm?
No, we haven't been contacted by anyone.
Nobody called at all, nobody messaged, nobody come.
Anything else other than last night with the little meeting that they had? Nobody reached out back to us to say anything.
But a meeting could not have been fruitful. You can't have a meeting in a direct aftermath of a person's death with the person's family. I don't see that even being a logical approach to handling the situation. People are still in shock. They are grief-stricken. To at that point ask people to have a meeting. I don't know where is the logics in that. But one would have thought that they would have contacted a family thereafter, after the situation, but they haven't.
Because I guess the thing that the little meeting that they had, I think they maybe to themselves, like they think that this was enough because it was the mother, myself, her uncle, my kid's father, you know, and I was the only one crying. My sister was in distress. I told them that she can't speak to you guys. She can't speak, but she was sitting there. She can't speak to you. So I don't know if they think that this little meeting was enough. I really can't say, but for me, I don't think that was enough because now that I'm not crying, I could talk, I could explain what happened. I got a lot of questions, and these are the questions. Where were the nurses? Wasn't anybody there to supervise her? Why didn't the general doctor came? You know, these are questions that I needed to ask last night, but I couldn't. You couldn't expect me to ask these questions last night. So, nobody contacted us. Today, nobody from the hospital contacted us to speak about anything else, because I guess they think to themselves that, you know, it was enough last night.
Right. I did also notice a lot of speculation as it relates to this young lady's HIV status going around. And me, you don't have to speak to this, I'm here. If you may. We have seen the clinic card. You don't have to put it out because it may have information. Huh? Pardon? It's not? Oh, right. You know, as it relates to those things and so on. And so there is nothing that the family has that indicates that is the case. But my position is, and in fact our position is, whether or not this young lady is HIV positive is beyond the issue. The real issue is the negligence that led to this young lady's death. And so, you know, we should not allow ourselves to be distracted by all of these additional things that are being put out in the public about, you know, starting a whole speculation campaign, as the family would have indicated. The reason for this young lady going to the hospital is because they deduce that she was not necessarily in her right frame of mind and may have needed help. And so in going to the hospital, the family hoped to have been given some degree of help in this situation. In fact, they were so caring, because I know a lot of people, as one of the aunts would have mentioned earlier, was saying, oh, the family was negligent and so on. This is a family where we have people coming from different places who came together and went to the hospital. To the extent that they were concerned that their niece is not restrained and the way she's behaving could possibly see her harming herself or see her harming others. The hospital did not take heed to those words that were shared by the aunts and so on of this young lady who is now deceased. So none of that happened. And so here we are, where we would have, a life was lost, 2 lives lost, as she was pregnant. Yeah, 6 months pregnant. And so, you know, at the negligence of the hospital. And one would think that when it comes to, well, psychiatric issues, you would have people in a space where there aren't things that they can possibly do to harm themselves. So, you know, certain things should not be within their reach, and those windows should have been secured, because, you know, when people are acting outside of what is normal, anything is possible.
And can I say this?
Yes.
They mentioned that they didn't see any or notice any suicidal, anything suicidal with her, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I got to the hospital,
Mm-hmm.
I met her other 2 aunts here, Wendy and Portia. She had something in her hands. My kid's father took it out her hands. Like it looked like it was a pen, but it was just like a cover. It had something like a crystal, something like your earrings. And he took it from her, and she held this thing so tight. So the nurses was there. Why would you still put out that you didn't see anything suicidal? If it's a pen, I'm assuming it's a pen because it looks like a pen cover. Why would you say that's not suicidal? Because she could use that same object and use it on herself because of the state of mind she was in. She scrambled her mother's head, right? Isn't all of these signs of something? If someone is behaving in the manner, isn't that signs of this person could harm themselves?
Right.
I don't know. Like I said, there's a lot of questions to be asked.
Right.
And I keep insisting, where were the nurses that was supposed to be there watching or doing their job? Let me say doing their job. Where were them? Where were they? Nobody was there.
And they were all waiting on this general doctor that never arrived.
He never came. At least when we were there in the ward, he never came.
It also begs the question of how prepared are we, as a I don't want to say as a nation, but I mean as it relates to the medical aspects of things in terms of dealing with these situations. Because I know very many times we talk about postpartum depression, but not, there's also depression that can transpire before birth is given, prenatal depression. And
one of
so
the symptoms is mental health.
Right. And so, you know, it could have also been a situation. I mean, this is not something that is extremely prevalent in terms of you seeing it every day at the hospital. But these are things that can happen, and we should be, you know, as the fastest growing economy, should be able to prepare and to train our staff and to have people ready to deal with these sorts of things. Because I don't expect the family to be able to do this or to understand these things because they aren't medically trained. And they have to trust our healthcare system, which is where they went. And our healthcare system has failed this family. They failed this young lady, and they have failed her family.
I should mention this, but we're talking, and I think I gotta let everything out that happened there. My children's father was holding her, And while he was holding her, she was looking straight in his face. And this is something that she's not this kind of person that she wouldn't see you and just talk to you even though she know you. She would say hi, but you won't even hear this hi come out.
All right.
She looked at him straight in his face and she called his name and she said, my baby is godly. My baby godly. This is her exact words. My baby is godly. My baby godly. It's me. Something spiritual happened to me. And she called 2 names. I don't want to mention it on the live. She called out 2 names. And I called one of the names because I'm familiar with the person. And I asked her, I said, what did this person do to you? This person give you something? She said, yes. She gave me chicken to eat. She's very wicked. And a relative with another patient on the other side came in the ward and was attending to the family member. And my niece pointed to the person and called out this name again, one of the names. She called 2 names and she called out for one of the names. I was pointing at the person relative and saying, call the person name, you wicked, you're wicked, you do this to me, is you do this to me. So I said, Marissa, that's not the person. It's somebody relative. And she just back quiet again. She was sitting in an upward position and her hands is like this, and everybody, we had to be holding her down. She's not even that big. I got a lot of size more than her, but the strength that she had, all of us, the 4 of us had to hold her down. So I just think I needed to put that part up because I don't want to, if we're going to talk, we have to speak everything. So that is something that she said.
My question is, if they hadn't chased us out of the hospital,
Maybe this wouldn't
that she would have still been alive, right? Or they could have let one relative at least stay there with her in the state that she was in, right?
Yeah.
So,
even with the one relative, I think.
So she was behaving at a rate at the hospital.
Yeah, you're right.
She was.
And they left
4
her
of
alone.
us, all 4 of us had
They
to
left her alone
hold
with
her
other
down.
patients in that floor.
That's a dangerous situation, not only for her,
Yes.
but the other people there too. That's what is
yes,
this?
because there was another patient that was to her left, and they had to move that woman there. Because as our aunt said, that she grabbed a pen knife, or it's a pen or something that they
It
had
was a
on the
pen
table.
cover because they had
But it was very pointed, right? Trying to stab, I think was the baby father mommy, right? And I literally hold her along with my sister and somebody else was there, just hold her and
So it
try
was a
to
pen.
get. So they get the pointed piece out, but this outcome the
She
cover
left with the
end
cover.
up in her
Right,
hand.
but I
She
saw the
refused to
cover
lose it.
in her hands.
She refused to lose
I
it.
did saw the cover in her hands.
But what are you guys looking for as it relates to this situation?
Who's going to be accountable for this? Who's going to take accountability for this? Whose fault is this? These are my questions. Whose fault is this? Who's going to take accountability? Is the hospital going to take the accountability because she was in their care? Are they going to take the accountability? Are they going to pull themselves out? Who should we get these answers from? We're looking for answers. We need answers. They have to come out and tell us something. We need answers. Why wasn't nobody there? That's my point. Why wasn't anybody there? How did you allow this child to jump through that window? Where was everybody? We need these answers. They need to sit us down and speak to us properly and give us these answers. Get all the nurses that was in the ward at that time. Get them, speak to them, bring them with us, Speak to us, tell us, where were you guys? Where was everybody?
Hello.
I think if they had other patients that they had to attend to, I think it's the same one because the room didn't have Sheila, it had other patients there.
Right.
So therefore nurses had to be in there. You had to be in attendance to this room. Because I don't think they're going to put 6 nurses on one flat and they had more than one room. I doubt that.
Right.
So we need these answers. Where were the nurses? Why did this happen? How did this happen? And then you just want to just keep a little meeting. And I can't recall what you said because of the state that I was in. I was crying. Who's gonna give us these answers? We just got to go now to the hospital for an autopsy. We already know the cause of death. She jumped from the window. Yes, she busted up her head and everything. Yeah, that's what they're gonna tell us. We need answers. Where were the nurses? How did you make this happen? Who was assigned to this room? Where were you at the time? Give us answers. Tell us something. Somebody must see something. Give us the answers.
The point is, she jumped from the hospital window, causing her to kill herself due to negligence of the hospital. Exactly. That is the cause of death, and that's our point right now.
Right. Right. The hospital is definitely negligent. And the hospital, of course, comes under the Ministry of Health. And so that, by extension, makes the ministry and government responsible. I know very many times people say, how could this person be responsible? They didn't push her out the window. People like to come with these sorts of things, but it's not about being responsible. Doesn't mean that you have to physically throw the person out of the window. It means that you have responsibility to take due care and protection of those persons who are within the care of the hospital. And the hospital has failed. And so as a result, they do have responsibility for what has transpired because they clearly did not do what is necessary to ensure that this young lady is safe in that environment.
We need answers. We need to know if somebody tried to stop her and she failed. We need to know these.
No, but based on based on the information that they have made public so far, there's been no claim of anybody intercepting and trying to prevent her from going through the window. They have said nothing so far, and they have made public statements through the news, because I haven't seen statements from the family through the news, but they have made statements through the news that indicates that this act happened with this young lady alone. There was no intervention to prevent her from going through the window, which again comes back to them being negligent, you know. Is there anything you would like to add at this point? Okay, understood. I would like to know if there are any closing words that you would like to give as a family. Anything that you would like to say, if the Minister of Health is looking, if the people with responsibility, the hospital is looking on, the government by extension is paying attention, because I know that your family is in a state of mourning, that this is difficult for you to come to grips with. You would have lost your niece, her mother would have lost her only child, and I'm sure that, you know, the family is going through an extremely difficult period right now. But if there's anything that you'd like to say, anything that is pressing, that is on your mind, in your heart, that you would like to make public at this time.
At this point in time, I'm upset because until now, anyone has reached out to us at this point in time, other than Mr. Abedin, and we appreciate it, but until this time, nobody has reached out to us. No ministry, no nothing. You know, we just need some answers. That's it.
I don't know if her other aunt would like to add something.
It's basically the same thing. We need somebody to reach out to us. Even if we get the same persons that did the little interview last night. If you can reach out to us again,
So who
so we
interviewed you
can
last
have
night?
a
Who interviewed them last
proper meeting, so we could understand. We get a better statement. We know what's up. We need you guys to tell us something. We need answers. We basically need answers.
I'm sure that at this time the family has not considered um, fully what their next position would be, whether or not they are prepared to sue the hospital because, of course, they were negligent, or whatever their position is. I hope that, having seen this live today, the family was able to bring some degree of clarity in terms of where they are and what is happening. And, you know, we are particularly in a very sad state. I can imagine how difficult it must have been for you to have to, I mean, one aunt was still at the hospital, so she witnessed a direct aftermath. She would have heard the screams and all of that because she was there in the moment. But, you know, the other aunts who would have left and had to travel back to get to the hospital and to come back, and, you know, the body is still there on the ground, and to be there for several hours after, and the body is still there. There had not been an intervention. At some point during the time that they were there, the section where her body was lying was cordoned off, I would assume by the police. You know, it's a really sad situation. And now, as you would have heard from the family, they have so many unanswered questions at this juncture, and that should not even be the case. We should have been more forthcoming in terms of getting the family information, ensuring that, you know, we don't make this difficult time and situation even more difficult for the family at this point. So I would like to urge the authorities to ensure that they deal with this situation in a different manner, ensure the family is able to understand what is happening, ensure that information is properly information properly gets from them to the family as well, and also to look at having an intervention as well, because I do believe that even the family that was there would need to have some sort of support as well, you know, psychosocial support, whatever the case is for the family. So I want to say thank you very much. If there is nothing else at this point, thank you very much for having this sit down with us. And again, our sincerest condolences goes out to the family at this time. And of course, we will be checking in with the family to see how things are going, and in whichever way we were able to lend some support to come to, you know, to assist you along this journey. Thank you very much, and thank you guys for joining the live. To have a blessed rest of the day. Take care.
Yeah, to the family, relatives of Marissa Eastman, our sincere condolences, best sympathies. So sorry we had to meet under these circumstances, but you know, throughout the years, I'm always there for the people of this country. Put aside politics, even before I announced my candidacy, I would always reach out to persons, you know, through the good times and the bad times. And I heard of the story. I contacted you this morning. But you know what is alarming and what hurt me the most, sit here listening to everyone, is that when she jumped through this window, right, she was lying there, according to the family, for over 60 minutes. You say it's longer than that, but lying there for over an hour. She's not an animal, like if you hit a dog down on the road, you know, you just pass and no one cares. It's like she jumped through this window. It's like an animal. I can't believe in the hospital compound this would happen. I understand.
Somebody has to take accountability.
Yes, that one really hurt me to know that she was there lying. You know, maybe we could have saved the baby. We could have saved the baby. I think management, because a lot of persons, you know, they would jump on the nurses. But I know so much nurses throughout this country work tirelessly. And these nurses don't even be paid on time. You understand? It's not the nurse to ensure they got a grill and a window. The management of the hospital. The management. We got to ensure that all these facilities are well secure. So we are calling on Minister Frank Anthony. We're calling on Minister of India to visit the family. We need an investigation to be done. We need a credible investigation to be done too, so that this family can get some sort of justice. 22 years of age, her first child, 22 years of age. And the rumors that are spreading about HIV, I just want you to know she never did a test. I was looking at her report here. The family showed me her report. She never did a test based on the report. But she had mental issues. It's a symptom when you're 6 months pregnant.
Let me correct you there. She did the test.
Yeah, she did the test.
She did the test, but the test is negative.
The test is negative.
Oh,
Yeah.
she did a test.
Yes.
Did the test and
Yeah, it's negative.
We also have the results from
The child father brought his test
I
too.
would like to clear the air.
Both are negative.
According to the family, she did a test and it's negative.
Both of them, the guy brought
But
his
besides
documents.
that,
Did several tests.
besides even if she was positive, she is still a human being.
All right.
All right? We have thousands of persons living with the HIV. That doesn't mean they're less of a human.
All right.
So I'm calling on the government to ensure that they reach out to the family, we get an investigation done, and please secure the hospital immediately. We don't want this to happen again. Please ensure that you secure all the hospitals throughout the country. We have the monies and we can get it done.
All right.
Yeah. And I will be checking in with the family to ensure you get the justice you deserve. This shouldn't have happened in the first place.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
It's management fault. Management fault.
Poor management.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, love.